I drove the previous generation Vantage in 2020, just after the world opened post-COVID. It was my first ever brush with an Aston that I'd heard and seen so much about. Courtesy James Bond. The car blew me away. It was the opposite of what a Lamborghini was in terms of street presence, yet demanded more respect and told a lot about the owner. The previous generation Vantage was 503 horsepower. The 2025 Aston Martin Vantage is the biggest leap in terms of sheer power that I can recall in any such car in recent history. The weight has just increased by 60 odd kilograms, which makes the latest Vantage an excellent power to weight ratio. With almost 380 horsepower for every ton, which is in line with the ethos of the Vantage being a true blue sports car.
This one is 153 horsepower more than the last Vantage. Now just think about that. This stupendous increase in power brings this car that I'm driving right now to 650 horsepower and a little bit more. That is absolutely bonkers. And this is a 4-liter engine, V8. And if you hear the sound, whatever you are hearing right now, it is not being accentuated by the speakers as most of the premium cars do.
The engine has been reworked, the iconic front grille has been made almost 40% larger than the outgoing one, allowing for a lot more air to be sucked in for more power. A while ago, I also drove the new DB12, which is slightly heavier and is supposed to be a more practical 4-seater with a more calm demeanor, putting it in the GT category. The DB12 already demonstrated that the AMG V8 engine could be easily pushed more to generate more power. In fact, the DBX 707 really surprised me. This one also uses the same engine with a different tune and manages to achieve almost 700 horsepower or 707 British horsepower. The incredible but obvious thing is that this is quicker than the Vantage, despite being half a ton more. You can attribute this to the all-wheel drive setup that helps put power down more effectively in the 707 than the rear-wheel drive setup on the Vantage. And of course, the 50 horsepower more also helps. The more snappy 8-speed wet clutch in the DBX could also be one of the reasons why it's actually quicker than the Vantage, which uses a lighter ZF 8-speed setup but can't handle the insane 900 Newton meters of torque that a DBX churns out. But a true blue sports car fan will never even look at something like the DBX.
These luxury shades now may fall out of my eyes. True colors of love.
The engine is the most important part of the experience, and it is sourced from Mercedes-AMG. So, is the Aston more of a Mercedes than a true blue Aston? Nein, no, das stimmt nicht. That is not true. Aston Martin is more capable of producing their own engine. In fact, the Aston Martin Vantage V12 Final Edition that was last made in 2023 had their own 5.2 liters engine churning out 690 horsepower. But in today's age of emission norms, coupled with the fact that developing a new engine takes millions of dollars and many years, it was but natural and James Bond smart of Aston Martin to source a reliable V8 mill from AMG, since they are tunable. And also, Mercedes has almost 10% stake in Aston Martin. The final engine that you will get in the Vantage has been retuned. Even the sound is unmistakable Aston. Along with the new chassis bodywork and a lot of other things that are all custom Aston Martin built in England. They also have Mercedes helping them out with the electricals and electronics. Although the new infotainment system uses their in-house software from the 2025 Vantage, but the electronics managed to do an amazing job keeping this rear-wheel drive monstrosity in check, even on wet roads that we were driving on today in New Delhi. The Vantage aims to be positioned against the likes of the Roma and the 911 Turbo. But in the end, it comes down to driving dynamics as well, and how it is positioned.
No, any such car cannot be reviewed. It's about what you like, because the amount of money that you're putting on the table, you better know what you're buying. In fact, you already know. But if you just talk about things objectively, any such car or vehicle is made up of 5 main elements, which is legacy, looks, sound, performance, and value for money. Just joking on the last one. 5th one is design, which I think is one of the most important things, which propels a person to actually buy such a kind of a vehicle. Well, talking about design, Aston Martin is right up there.
Its association with the almost achievable real-life superhero James Bond has given reason for many multi-millionaires around the world who want to portray themselves with a certain class, yet have fun when no one's looking, and let their hidden kid out again. Not in the face like the Lamborghinista or the Ferrarista of the world. Yes, you do feel like in a movie sometimes when in this car, and when the driving conditions are just right. But you need sinuous roads for the Vantage. You need a track for this. While it will gobble up straights just fine at a 0 to 100 in 3.4 seconds, propelling it to 325 kilometers an hour. It is as much as a statement that you have arrived in life as it is that you love the best that this life has to offer. And with that vantage point, you cannot go wrong.